Oh, you're reading that title correct. I sat here and watched the Rockets and Magic game. I sat here and did it. I know it's crazy with all the other games going around. But how would you want to see a Rockets and Magic game? I think they're the two most exciting young teams that we probably have in the NBA. Unless you just want to count Wemby, but the Spurs, I guess. But I don't really count them unless you're just like the only way they're more exciting, other than the Thunder, who they blew out the Bulls. I wasn't watching that, but yeah, those are the two teams that excited me. So I'm gonna cut this down. I think I watched I think I watched 4 or 5 games last night. I watched Rockets. I watched the Celtics. Obviously, I watched the Spurs. I watched the Clippers, and I got a little glimpse of the Heat and Pistons game because I wanted to see how Cade Cunningham was gonna do. So I'm gonna try to cut it down into maybe like 2 minutes of each game. I don't want to keep sit here rattling on about each game because again, it is just the regular season. It's just the first game. A lot of things can happen in the second game. A lot of things can happen in the All-Star break. But this is my take on what's going on now with the team. Obviously, teams are gonna look different later in the year. But that's my takes now. So we're gonna start off with the Rockets and Magic game. Now, obviously the Rockets had their two huge additions in free agency in Fred and Dylan Brooks, who I think are still overpaid. But we're not on that topic. I mix up who is what Thompson twin is on the Rockets. So if I get it wrong, please don't bash me. But I think it's a Sore Thompson. You know what? Let me just give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. Hold on. A Sore Thompson. Okay, Soares on the Pistons. So it's Amen that was on the Rocket. Okay, obviously they have their rookie starting his first game, Amen, who looked honestly, other than really on the offensive side of the ball, he really did look pretty good. Again, I don't know how their offensive game was really going to work. He's not really that good of a shooter, but we all know how good he is defensively. We all know how good he is playmaking. I expect later in the year for him to be more involved in the offense with like the playmaking or him roaming. Not really roaming without the ball. I think he'll most likely have the ball in his hands more often. Because watching that Rockets team, it was very discombobulated on the offensive end. Their defense wasn't really that good, to be honest. And the offense didn't look good at all. I don't know what was happening over there. I really do expect big things with this young Rockets team with Fred now coming in and Fred and Dylan coming in being like the main veteran guys for this team. I really expected this offense to look better with Jalen Green still there. Sengun's gonna get only gonna get better. He looked amazing last night. He had some good passes, good pick and roll game. And yeah, that's really my take on the Rocket side. But for the Magic side, honestly, they surprised me. I'm not gonna lie. I expected it to be more of a closer game. I think by midway through the third, they were up by a point. I know they were definitely up by more than 10 at some point during the third, which was crazy in my opinion. I didn't expect that. But Cole Anthony, who just got paid this offseason, went. I think he had 19 points off the bench. Paulo didn't have the big game that I really thought he was. I really thought he was probably going to end near, I think, 20 and 8. I think he stayed in the teens. I don't think he hit the 20s yet. France came out hot at the start. He started 3 for 3. But I don't know, something with this Magic team. They still have a lot of guards. I still think. Obviously, I didn't get to see Anthony Black. Anthony Black didn't play in yesterday's game. Unless it was garbage time, but usually once a game gets too out of hand, I stop really watching it. There's really no point in me watching it. So once the fourth quarter hit and I got to a point where they were subbing out the starters, I still wanted to watch Anthony Black, but I kind of got a peek of also the Pelicans game. At the end of the game, I saw they were, I think, down 13 with 8 minutes left, tuned into them. So I don't know if Anthony Black got minutes, but as I was watching, he didn't. I really hope he gets minutes. Again, it's a guard-heavy team. They have a lot of good guards. One player I do expect to get traded is Gary Harris on that team. I think he's the oldest player on that roster, other than now Joe Ingles, who got traded there. So they can develop more of Anthony Black into being that role. Unless they do think they can make a real playoff push and keep him. Who knows? But that's my take on that game. So let's get down to the first national televised game of yesterday, the Celtics and Knicks. Now, I'm going to start on my Celtics side. To start off the game, we looked amazing. Amazing. We looked amazing around. Our defense was clicking. Our offense was clicking. Kristaps Porzingis looked like New York City, like prime Kristaps. Obviously, after his 23 last year, we're not going to skip past the fact he's still a great big man, even if he's not in his prime. But he looked amazing last night. I think he ended with 30. I think he had somewhere around 5 blocks. He's going to be our rim protector, obviously. I think Tatum started scoring a little bit. I think he ended with around the same thing, 28 or 28, 30. And I think he had 10 rebounds, too. Brown looked sluggish. He really kind of almost sold in the last minutes of the game. There was a play where I think he over dribbled too much and he turned the ball over, I think. Which then they got a layup. Brown passed it into Tatum, who wasn't paying attention. That's just a mental mistake. He looked really out of it at some points in the game. He gave it to Tatum. Tatum wasn't looking. I think this is where they got the steal. He didn't go up with it because Brown was there to contest. They pulled it out, and Grimes hit a corner three to make their lead go to 6, and Brown fouling him at the 3, basically and 1. But yeah, Brown really scared me a little. He didn't look like, I don't know, he wasn't involved in the offense like I think he would have been. But obviously it's first game. They're gonna look at the film. They're gonna see what they need to improve on, what they need to, if one player needs to start getting more of the looks sometimes, like if he's having a good night, get him the ball. If he's not, then take a step back a little. Our bench scared us a little. I'm not gonna lie. They came in and provided valuable minutes, but they weren't really scoring as much. It was still really just like the Tatum and Porzingis show. Which I do want our bench to really come out and score more often. Obviously, Horford came in. I think he had a couple clutch threes in the fourth quarter. But yeah, again, we're running an offense where we want 2 big men on the floor, or all people around us to be able to shoot the ball, which I think that's going to be most of our offense this year. Now, on the Knicks side, it started, again, you can't really start slow because then you're basically in a race with yourself now. Because now when you're down so early in a game, some people will look at it and you have to put so much energy in to get that lead back. And then once you get to the fourth quarter, which I think really happened, people started getting tired and they couldn't, I think that really happens to NBA players when you have to build the momentum back and you have to get all that momentum. You have to get the lead. They got the lead. They went up by 6. I think that was the highest lead they got. And after that, the Celtics came not really storming back, but I think Kristaps hit back. I think they did it because I think Kristaps hit back-to-back threes. And you don't want to be playing from behind. And they were playing from behind all game. I think that was really the only negative I've seen out of this team. Again, this team, I do expect big things. I expect, honestly, the same thing I saw last year, a second-round appearance. I don't expect them to get eliminated first round. I expect a second-round appearance again from them. But Jalen Brunson got it going in the second half. Again, Julius Randle. He was struggling a lot out there. Julius Randle, I will say. He was struggling. But he did make some clutch plays. He hit a step-back 3, I think, at some point. He hit a couple open shots. He was rebounding the hell out of the ball. And Immanuel Quickley off the bench looked amazing. He ended with 20. Immanuel Quickley, that boy is a bucket. Let me tell you. If you don't know Immanuel Quickley, do your research. He's nice. Do your research. That's my 6 man of the year right there. I can't hold you. But I think that's really all I got for that game. Again, I was kind of situated between both games. I was really focused on the Rockets game more than the Celtics game. That was crazy. Let's talk about the Spurs and Mavericks. Now, I'm going to start off with the Mavericks side. Actually, no, I'm going to start off with the Spurs side. Obviously, the Spurs, they had so much energy just coming into the game with Wemby's debut. They had so much energy coming to the game, and it showed. I think think they went on a run to start off the game. I think they were up by at least 10, I think, at some point during the first quarter. They were up 10, but again, with the Mavericks, their one flaw on their team is their defensive end. So, obviously, the Spurs are going to get good looks. They got amazing looks. Devin Vassell, he didn't play as much last year. He was hurt. He came in, I think he ended with 18 points, which honestly, I think he's probably the best player on this team. I think it's him and Keldon Johnson, and then it goes Wemby. I've seen a lot of people arguing that Wemby's the best, and it's like, you can't really say that with him not playing a game. He obviously played a game now, but I still think it's them two better. What else with this? What else with this Spurs? I didn't really notice like anything. It's hard to say something about a team because I was really focused on I really wanted to pay attention to Wemby, see how he did. But he got into foul trouble so early, and it took me out the game. I'm not gonna lie. It took me out the game to really pay attention. But the bench for the Spurs actually, like, even with Wemby off the floor, their team honestly looked amazing. Again, the Mavericks, their one flaw on their team is defense. And if Spurs make the playoffs, I'm here for it. They ended with, I think, 40 in the first quarter. One, as the Mavericks, you don't want to be giving that to at least a team that might not make the play-in. But again, Spurs playing, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. The Spurs looked amazing. They were playing great offense. They were playing... It's great defense for Luka and Kyrie, but when you're going against Luka and Kyrie and you play great defense, it's like you're not even there for real. That shot that Luka hit to basically close out the game was crazy. Sohan was playing great defense. I'm not going to lie on Luka almost the entire game. Every time Sohan was on Luka, it looked like great defense. But it's Luka. You can only stop him to a point. And then I think they had Vassell on Kyrie. Kyrie was really struggling in yesterday's game. And then their offense, that rookie for them, I think is going to be huge. He protected the rim great. He was a visible lob threat. And he was boarding like he was prime Dikembe Mutombo. He was boarding like he was Ben Wallace. Obviously, they didn't have 7-3 Wemby on the floor to help get rebounds, but still. He was playing like that rookie outplayed the number one pick if we think about it. Obviously, this is an overreaction. I'm not about to sit here and say he's about to be better than him. I just want to overreact. I want to build some steam. He played better than Wemby, and he's getting no show for it, which I kind of hate. There was literally a post of Wemby's first highlights. Again, he was in foul trouble. He didn't even play that much. Why am I seeing Wemby highlights? You know what? The caption showed flashes. Why aren't we talking about the rookie for the Mavs? I think it's Derek Lively, I think. I know his last name is Lively. I don't know his first name yet. I think it's Derek Lively, though, if I'm not mistaken. Why aren't we talking about him? I think he had a double-double, 16 and 10, playing great for the Mavericks, a great lob threat for them, and no one's talking about it. All we're hearing about was Wemby, Wemby, and Wemby. I'm here for the Wemby hype, but don't let Wemby take over all these other rookies. I even heard Brandon Miller played great, and not great, but he played at least, he showed, like, I even see nothing about Brandon Miller. But I heard he played, not amazing, but he played good. Why am I not seeing that? Obviously, I've watched the Clippers game. I don't even know what to say. But all I could say is, for the Clippers game, all I can really say is that team stays healthy. They're a very scary team, and we say this every single year. The only thing is wrong with them is health. They stay healthy, it's very scary. Now, the Blazers' offense looked, I don't know if it was because of the Spurs. It was probably because of the Clippers' defense, but the Spurs' offense looked, I said Spurs. The Blazers' offense looked terrible. Terrible. Every time I looked, it was a turnover. It was a fast break for the Clippers. And every time I seen a shot off, it was a difficult shot. It wasn't like an easy pick and roll game, you know, give it to the big, maybe easy layup, easy pull up midi. It looked like they were fighting to get any shots off. And obviously they're all young. I don't know who's the oldest on that team because they're all so young. I don't know who's the oldest. But they're definitely going to need to find a playmaker, and I don't know if Simons or Sharp can be that guy to be a playmaker. I think both of those players are scoring people. I don't think they'll probably be the playmaking type. So Scoot is gonna have a lot of things on his shoulders for his rookie year, to be honest. For Scoot, I wouldn't expect him to come out and average like. I think he's probably gonna have to fit more in the point guard role. So if I had to predict his stats, I don't see him being maybe like a 15-point rookie or like a 14. I see him doing like 12 and 7 if that's what the Blazers really want him to do, is be a point guard. But obviously they're gonna be like, do you, like, if you want, like, you're a playmaker, but if you can go get a bucket, go get a bucket. If you know how to facilitate in the pick and roll, go do that. If you know when to come off a screen, and if you know what to do when you're coming off that, if you know you want to shoot, if you know you want to drive, do that. You're a rookie. We're not gonna sit here and hold you back. We want you to be our franchise player. So I think that I don't know what they're gonna do with playmaking on that team. Hopefully Scoot is the answer, or maybe he's not, but we'll have to find that out. And then again, back to the Clippers side. Again, if injuries don't play in fact with them, I do think this team is probably the pick to come out of the West. They always are, to be honest. They always are, but their offense looked great. Russ had so much energy. Bones Highland came in off the bench with energy. It just looked like they had energy all around. Like the energy, the flow of everything. Westbrook was getting downhill, creating some crazy passes to Zubac. Zubac was being a true big man. Like, he blocking shots, rebounding, putbacks. Who else? Paul George was getting in the mix. Kawhi was getting in the mix. It was just a team effort for that, really. I really saw no flaws in that game. Gratefully, they're going against the Blazers. I really do want to see what they do against, obviously, like a better team. Like, not a better team. Well, there are better teams, but I don't want to disrespect anyone on the Blazers, but I would like to see them go up against like a team like the Warriors or see how they match up against them. Hopefully they do, and if they do, it's with both teams fully healthy. I think that's really all I have for today talking about it. But we do have 2 amazing games. I get to see the Bucks, big 2. The big duo, Giannis and Dame tonight. I get to see what Joel Embiid is going to come off looking like after his MVP year. And then I get to see LeBron and KD go at it. Sadly, Devin Booker and Bradley Beal are not going to be playing tonight, which sucks. But it's KD and LeBron. We haven't seen that matchup since 2019. We've seen it happened preseason, but ain't no one really paying attention to preseason. It's a regular season game. We finally get to see LeBron and LeBron versus KD again. Oh, I can't wait. If you want to, let me get your predictions in the comments. But if you like the video, like it, subscribe. I'll catch you again.